All right, Nerd Z, is you ready?
Yes, I am.
Del Pesh, are you ready?
Yes, yes.
In a world where sometimes I have to get high all the time just to get you off my mind. Ooh, ooh, this is the vent. I'm your host, Jay Hunterville. We got Nerd Z in the
What was
building,
that called?
I,
It's a woman. He sings it.
and we
I know,
got
but
Del
like it's like
Pesh in the video.
I'm in here, but I'm trying to like figure out like
How it goes?
yeah, like I'm
You
trying
know,
to the
It goes. Gotta stay high all the
all the
time.
time.
Keep you off my mind. Ooh,
It's a top 40 that you
ooh,
hear in like
high
H&M
all the
or something. The
time.
oh,
song's it's one of those.
Yeah,
okay.
it's
There's either gonna
definitely.
be that song or the "Take Me Away, No Sweet Escape."
I'm
You know that
rolling.
one? Them that
I'm
one there.
rolling.
Yeah, yo, we gonna do throwbacks every time the pod starts.
Mm,
Take me away, take me away to I go
So
to I take
uh,
me away.
okay,
how
Yes.
okay,
how
okay,
are you
okay.
guys doing on this lovely November?
Uh, I'm stressed, but
Oh wow, okay.
but I'm too blessed to be stressed.
Stress,
Stress. I
stress.
am too blessed.
Yes.
Wait, who is troubling your spirit today?
Oh my gosh. I mean, it's just people,
Okay,
but like,
always people, you know.
you know, I think it just comes down to um, what's the best way to say it without giving too much? It's
Common
really,
sense.
huh?
Common sense.
Not common. It's not common sense. Obviously, common sense is always one of those questions that you always have to ask people. Like, does it even exist? Is it here? I don't know. This seems to be a phenomenon now. But
Okay.
more so, when you listen to people say this is what they want to do in their life, but they really don't do what they say they want to do,
Oh,
Oh,
it's
talk is
that.
cheap.
It's that. Yeah. Like, and the thing is, they've been bandwagoning so hard for so long that it's like, okay, let me see what you got.
Ooh, so instead of bandwagon to learn how to do it on their own, they just been bandwagon and going for the ride the whole
That's
time.
it. And I like to
oh, wow.
encounter that and then have to deal with this person because
So
now
you're
you're
sitting
like,
there like you didn't drive this whole time.
yeah, what were
So
you
all
doing this
this
entire time?
Oh wow.
this is
Okay.
Clearly, you
based
had
off
somebody
all
else
these
doing it.
people.
That's
Oh,
that. Whoa, a shadow person.
Yeah. It's like, clearly, you had somebody else doing this.
they're
Clearly.
ghost riding. You were just there. You were just
Yeah.
chilling.
And now here we are sitting
This
face
shit.
to
This
face,
guy's a ghost right.
and I'm seeing the face, the prop,
Here we
and I'm not
are,
talking to the
all
shadow.
alone in this
Wait, whoa,
room.
you saw the prop.
Yeah, I'm talking to the prop.
Oh, okay, okay, that
Yeah,
makes
I'm
sense.
face to face talking to the prop. But I
So
want to
you
talk to the
pull.
shadow.
But wow, wow.
So you just pulled the veil off the Wizard of Oz type thing, and you're like,
Yeah.
Damn, can't believe Z saw the curtain.
Yeah.
Damn, that's tough.
I mean,
That's
to tell you
tough,
the
yo.
truth,
It's
you
rough.
rather what you're tell you the truth, be blessed that you saw it now than you seen it later in life.
This is
You know what I
true.
mean?
This is very,
These are the
very,
things you
very
got to
true.
be thankful for.
I am. I am very, very grateful for seeing it. But it also kind of says what. So, the bigger part of it, right? The big picture of it is the fact that when you understand that you are the creator of the machine,
Okay.
right? And then you buy certain parts with the idea that they're going to help your machine,
Okay.
Ooh,
but they don't. And it's not that they don't fit. It's not like it's a circle in a square hole. No.
Okay.
It is like it is doing what it's supposed to do, but it actually does nothing.
so
It
it's
just
like the person comes and says, "Hey, we're gonna eat together. I'll pay the bill. We're just gonna eat and enjoy this time."
Yeah.
And then when the bill comes, he just disappears.
No, he's sitting there looking at the
But
bill. And
oh,
you
he's
looking
just
at
looking
the
at
bill too.
shoot, he's
oh
looking at the bill and he's just like, so what are
wow.
we gonna do about this? Which actually means, what are you gonna do about this?
That part.
Because you already said
You Jay said that part though. Oh,
that you were
ooh.
going to do. Here we are now, presented with the stuff you're supposed to be doing.
Damn, you're saying where you at? Even though you're here, where you at right now? Like what's Damn.
So
And the
it's
funny thing is,
crazy.
with people like that, it's one thing to just say that you don't know, but we can work together. Say something like
Yeah.
that. Just say you don't know
Yeah.
instead of guaning like you know, and then the time comes and you don't know.
You know what's funny about that statement? I heard that like recently, like a month and a half now. The first time I heard it, they're like, "Yo, I'm not gonna. I'm okay. I'm not. Let me see how to word this.
Just be real.
Yeah, it's not. It's that, but like the premise is like, hey, I'm firing this person because what they should have did was say if they didn't know anything, then we could be like, okay, whoever we told to instruct you to do this task, we can talk to them and see where the miscommunication is and everything, right? But instead, you're looking at the bill and you're playing like you know, and now it's come to this point where I have to fire you now,
And that's the
right?
problem because then you're wasting everybody else's time because according to what you told me in this interview, you are a reliable person. You have done this before. You have seen this before. And now when you probably seen something that's not even as much as thing, all you're left with you come with your bare hands.
With the ash, no
Like there's
no cocoa
nothing.
butter on hand.
Right?
Not
Because I
even
gotta
no
give
no no
that.
no. Your
You
hands are clean.
you
No
gotta
no
give
no
the
Because
no no
I gotta
no.
give the moisturizer
Nah, not even. Your
to
hands
fix
are
it up.
clean because you never did any work. That's what it is. Your hands are
Like,
clean. You never did any work.
yo.
Clean, bare hand. Just there, like okay, no callus, smooth. Because all you did was just held on to people's coattails.
yeah.
Wow, damn.
That's crazy. It's like, and it's so. What's crazier is just knowing that the talk is always so big. That I don't like. That's the part I don't like.
But
I don't
you know
like
what?
that.
I do believe. I don't know if this is like a. Oh, whoops. I don't know if it's like a. How do I explain this? Like a. Do you feel like it's like a gender thing? Not to be like, but
No,
like a gender difference in the sense of like
no.
when a man sees a girl, they'll probably just like they're kind of overdo the promotion of themselves. Is that a thing?
I mean, that does exist. That is one part of it.
I see
But
where you're going with that. Yeah, but
it's not gender based. It is just person based.
right.
Could I say what the consistency or correlation of them per se who do this thing? I think it would be like what we were talking about earlier. But it's just like a borderline of like what you said. This is where I would say of what you said would apply. Where it's like the reality needs to kick in because what you deserve, yes, you deserve that. But the reality of it is that you need to also put in the work to get there.
Right.
And that's the part.
Yeah.
So it's like if you're not really getting the work done, then it's hard for you to think that you're going to get there. But I mean, by all means, you clearly are doing some form of work, which is you're a good scouter. You know who the right people to hang on to so they can elevate you.
Wow.
No, but the problem
wow.
is this. The problem is they don't want to give you that because they want to be the hero.
But that's the thing.
Wow.
That's the reason why they're good at what they do. Because they clearly know how to make the story and present the story and give everybody else the illusion of the story. But then really, when you have to work with that person, then you realize, okay, that's not it. Like,
Oh, you ain't good at work. You're good at sales.
That's not a good scouter though. That part. Yo,
you're a scouter at that point.
damn.
And maybe they don't know it, right? They don't know that they are actually, that's their strong suit, right?
Oh.
I
Okay,
feel
so
like
it could
some
be
people
an
know it because
unawareness thing.
I feel like some people know it. They just, they just go on like. I feel like some people know it still.
Maybe.
I think they know it. It's just like a. It's not a good idea to tell anybody you can't do things.
Well, that's the thing, right? In this world, you're supposed to be open and tell everyone that they are capable and able of all things. Whatever it is you want to achieve, if you want to, what was it? If you want to achieve something, you got to believe that you can achieve it. That's it, right?
I think we need to stop lying to people.
Oh no. Oh no.
I'm joking. I am joking.
Damn.
I'm joking.
I
when the
wish.
circumstances are right, I think everybody is capable of everything. possibly. But
I don't think that's true.
not everyone may be able to do heart open surgery.
Open heart
open
surgery.
heart surgery. But if
Then
permitted,
stay out the damn room.
Stay
maybe.
out.
Stay out the
Stay out the room.
Sit in the room because there's someone's life in jeopardy
Oh,
if you
yes.
don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's
If you don't know what you're doing,
that sounds like a
you're
stressful.
jeopardizing.
That
You're
sounds like
jeopardizing someone's life.
Yes.
that sounds like a stressful week. Like this.
I mean, there's been a lot. There's been a lot of things that have been happening for me this whole entire week. Power plays have been happening. Politics has been happening.
Whoa.
Like I said, people not knowing, people showing their real colors when you actually see them face to face.
Oh wow.
Just numbers, even just like entertainment in Canada.
You know, it's funny.
And Canada too. Damn.
I don't want to run a joke, but you basically talking about a whole new meaning of pushing P, or all these different P's, power plays, persuasion, just different type of P's, all these P's, just all over, just lies, secrets and lies.
Damn. This will cause someone to smoke cigarettes.
Yeah, this would. And
Those are the worst.
big old
Those are
me
the
was
worst
just
situations.
drinking tea.
You're just drinking tea through the pain.
Chai tea. That's it.
Chai tea through the pain.
That is tough.
Yeah.
Wow.
When you're just there like, oof, I can't take this.
Trust
Let me
me.
you take your lighter out,
Trust me.
you just sit there, just smoking,
put
just
the Tim
trying to figure
Hortons
out
cup on the
what's
warmer.
the next move.
Yeah. Okay. That's.
That was it.
Well,
Wow.
Mercy, I believe in you.
Thank you.
We all believe in you,
We
you.
yeah.
and whatever happens, I hope it makes the right turn. But I'm not speaking of right turns. I'm joking. But that's right.
I mean, that's a good segue, but just to close out.
So,
I mean, my week was okay, but nothing like the movie. Not like the movie here. With James, how was your week?
I mean, I just realized like the winter is going to be it's gonna be dangerous. Like I swapped out my winter tires this week.
Oh.
And I, just getting prepared. But then I thought to myself, I don't think this is gonna help. You're just looking around, and you're just like, I don't think this is even prepared for this. I don't think this is gonna,
Like today's single digit. For those that can feel it, not even see it, feel it.
You know what they said? Yesterday, they said that it is freaking the wind is gonna be 40 kilometers.
Wow.
40-kilometer winds. Do you know what 40-kilometer feels like?
That's
40 kilometer is a school zone road, and that's a wind. That is not okay, and I'm not okay with that. So you know what? It's just rolling with the punches of life, and I think I'm gonna be okay. But other than that, it's the week's been great. I would assume. Same old. I'm tired of I'm tired of traffic. I'm really tired of traffic.
That's.
I don't like living a life with traffic. I hate it to the depths of me.
It's man-made, man.
And it really is man-made.
It is
Telling you.
man-made.
See, that's what I've been saying. It's man-made. Traffic is man-made.
That's why people fight tooth and nail to be like, nah, I'm working from home. I don't care what it is. I'm staying in my comfy house.
Yep. But of course, that means the government would have to pay you for being at home.
Yeah.
Well-
But I'm just tired of it all, though. I'm just tired of every single type of, traffic. Like, it's just traffic every day. Traffic. Like,
You don't understand people lining up. You don't understand.
like,
There's like traffic now from like 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. There's like
No buffer of like ease in the road.
there's no ease. Like the last time I saw ease was when they lock everything down in 2020 March.
I literally thought about the days we spent just in traffic. Like, is what it is. Like, every day you're dealing with like maybe an hour of just traffic alone.
That's what.
Well, maybe they just need to get rid of the sidewalks now.
That's
Well, that is not okay.
that's.
I don't think. I mean, you see,
Am I in the
I don't
ghetto?
want you, Zakia, I don't ever want you to see you in
Hey,
politics
that is not true.
because
Rich places have no sidewalks. Thank you very much.
Okay.
jungle.
Rich neighborhoods? What do you mean?
No,
Bridle path?
no. I swear, like a sidebar, like
All
Okay.
Etobicoke?
no, it's combined with like when you see the house number, but it's spray painted on, and there's no sidewalks. You're like, oh, what's that?
That's different.
Where am I? Oh
Well,
man.
okay, I thought rich meant like you have two-way streets
Yeah.
and like
Like if you went
um
down.
you know what I
Not
thought was
Richfield.
rich actually? Your mailbox is in the front of the house. Like it's not onto the house. Like you have a mailbox that's like out
Oh.
Oh, you gotta like walk to it, and then take your mail out. Okay.
and then lift up the sign
And lift up
to
the-
make
yeah.
it work. I'm assuming that's what it is, but hey, what do I know? I'm just,
Check it out.
Now, okay. Now, before we were getting into it, why can you not make a right turn, or why are they suggesting they don't want you to make a right turn in the future?
because
for
of the
bikes.
incidents with bikes and
They're giving them too much. Too much.
Really?
The construction is the construction is year round, and now I gotta compete with bicycles.
That's you know
I'm not gonna
that
lie,
part.
the right turn and a bicycle is the most like multiple choice option
Would you like an
ultimatum that you have to choose. Because sometimes when you're about to drive and you see it hits the red light, right?
Right.
And now you're like, okay. And you see the bike person, and sometimes that bike person, I feel like they're doing it on purpose, but maybe not. They start speeding to try to like catch the light or something, and you're just like, bro, I'm about to make this right because if I don't catch this right, I'm gonna be gridlocked with the traffic going in, and I can't get this right again.
Right.
So it's either you or me.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
But that's playing chicken on road. That's actually
And play
pretty.
chicken on the road. And then now you hit the bike lane, and sometimes these bikers be like, these bikers be out of line. You cut them off, they're probably like lick off your bike and no know you're in traffic. They just box your
window.
your left mirror and run out and bike off, yo.
And you
You're
can't.
like, hey, and the man's already took off with you know.
Yeah, I don't think I've
Sounds
seen
very
that.
specific.
I don't think I've ever seen that. I've heard of that happening though, but like
But I don't understand. Like, I feel like it's dangerous for bikers. I do see some streets where they have the median, where it's like one lane and bike. I think it's Bayview, near Bayview, somewhere there. One lane, a bike trail, a bike lane, and a walking lane. And I'm just like,
yeah, that's okay.
what buns me about that is I don't see anybody walking, and I barely see anybody bicycling.
That's
But I
the-
see a lot of traffic on that lane.
So-
So I'm like, what are you trying to tell me?
So I think the biggest trail in Toronto, I think whatever road they're crossing by, they're starting to put lights there now. So yeah, so you'll see the walk. It's safe to walk, and then you'll see it's safe to bike. So imagine you're biking, and you're just for some of y'all, you're used to just ripping it, just boom, and then all of a sudden you have to stop now and be like, wait, I gotta wait for a red light now.
But some of them don't. That's the
No,
thing.
some of them don't. They're just as bad on jaywalking.
Some of them don't even know their hand signals.
Oh, they don't do the.
They don't do the left. They don't do the right. Yeah.
Oh, I did it wrong. Hold on, you have to do this.
And then the stop and slow down. Hand is like
More
this.
people don't even have helmets on.
You guys are playing dangerous games with that. Ooh, no helmet.
You have no helmet on, and you're riding with no helmet.
Honestly, my first question is this. Why did we change bikes off sidewalks?
I mean,
You know what?
I think too
I
many
didn't
people
even
got
know.
licked
Was
down.
there a law for bikes not to be on sidewalks? Is there a law? Because I would go on the sidewalk anytime, but I think it probably damages the bike.
There was a law. So they said that the bike itself had to be of a specific diameter, the tire wheel, because then if it was
Okay.
a certain like width, it had to be on the road.
Oh,
Because it
really?
was considered a
Really?
racing bike.
Those funny
Really?
rules. Oh, come on now.
I wasn't aware of that. Still, I wasn't
But every
aware.
other bike was okay on the sidewalk. Those were the only bikes that had to be on the road.
Oh man.
But that was only
Yeah.
because their gears are completely different from commercialized bikes. They are faster. Their gears are a lot. What's it called? They're a softer. I used to have a racing bike, so that's the reason why I can tell you that.
Right.
Different, completely different. Like from your commercial, okay, I'm gonna go mountain bike and whatever. Even your little street trick bike, completely different from a racer bike. You can pump 2 pumps, and that stuff will get you
Yeah,
far.
yeah. And the bike wheels are
Far.
thinner, no? They're like thin and they just.
Yes. But then that's the other thing. They like
Two
pick
pumps
up
you can go far. That's
yeah, man. You'll be picking up speed in 2 seconds.
Just
Like
hit, and then you
This guy did a sound effect. This guy did the sound effect.
and then boom.
But it looks terrible when those guys fall off their bike. It looks terrible when those
yeah,
guys fall off
when
their
you
bike.
fall, yo,
When they fall, though, that bike just folds like a pretzel, and you see them just fly up. They just twirl.
it's bad. It's
At least the one on like in my area, at least they kind of go slow on the sidewalk. But the e-bike scooter people,
But why couldn't they just maximize the
Oh.
sidewalk then? Put one side for people to walk
Yeah,
and the other
you're
side for people to
asking-
bike.
You're asking for money that they don't want to pay.
I bet.
Expand the sidewalk a little bit.
They're
Just
not
curve
ex-
2
yo,
inches off. And
They
then just
can never do that because, some of these cars need every inch. You know what I mean?
It's a spacing thing. Yeah, you can't just.
It's the car. It's the weather conditions, like in the snow. It's these the snow plows or whatever. When they're tilted a certain way and they're blowing, so you take 2 inches off, it might be scratching the other side incoming cars.
That's actually a good point. Actually,
You know what I mean?
They know the math.
No, but they hire
But I
engineers.
mean,
they
if
know.
they're selling a lot of money to like war. I mean, I would think that they would,
Be sending all
fix
this
their
money to go and
country.
fix their stuff.
You know what I mean?
Potholes is a scam.
But do we even have engineers here? You know what? Let me not.
We do have. I feel like we have engineers, but
Do we hire them?
we have. Put it like this.
Do we hire engineers here? That's a very
No,
good
here's
question.
it. We hire engineers. We hire doctors. We hire different things. But I feel like there's a system. If you're the engineer that wants to stop potholes from happening, you are not getting hired
Okay. I
because you're breaking the money on everybody.
see.
Everybody gotta eat.
Everybody
Everybody gotta eat.
Even though
It
it's
sounds good,
is detrimental.
but not everybody has to eat.
Not every.
You know what I mean? If you're the doctor that cures cancer, hey,
Nah, that's
I hope
$1
you-
trillion in treatment. You cut
Yo,
into my profits. My
what?
profits.
So you're telling me my $30,000 chemotherapy machine we can't use anymore? You have a pill that kills it completely? Oh no, you gotta go, sir.
That's crazy. But then,
You gotta go,
you know
sir.
what?
It's greedy.
Because
man.
then that turnaround and that says in itself that we are a very sick country.
I mean,
Because
No,
if you're
I
gonna
mean,
be
as you
paying,
can tell.
yeah, if you're gonna be making and capitalizing off of people's sickness,
sadly that's
Of course,
that is a thing though.
that's capitalism at its finest.
but why wouldn't you rather just have a better population that can act? Because it just goes back. Like if everybody's depressed,
I need my boats for next year,
what does
see,
that mean?
that-
You can still get your
but
boats
the
for
funny
next
thing-
year.
You see, that sounds.
but I want a
good.
bigger one.
You
see,
can still get a bigger one,
No, I don't
see-
think you understand. I want a Titanic boat next year.
and it's
But you see-
possible.
You see, it sounds good. It sounds great that we are the world and we have to do that, but
I said we are the world.
there's something called money, and I want more.
Yeah, obviously they want more. But think of it. If you ended up with more money, wouldn't you spend it?
Yes.
I mean,
Exactly. So like if everyone had a healthy ability and got more money, they would still spend it.
But I want more than the people that are spending it.
But you're still gonna get more. Because people
No.
would then be able to afford the actual Hermes bag that they so want.
the what?
Instead of-
Yeah.
Instead of stealing
But-
it.
The hurt.
But
Yo,
that's the problem, Zakia. We have to make it special. If anybody can buy it, it makes it common.
Oh.
That's not true.
If everybody buys a Honda, It makes it common, but not everybody can buy a Benz.
This is okay.
You know
This
what I
is
mean?
true.
Even though Honda's what you're supposed to get, actually, because that's a durable
It's
machine.
what you're supposed to get.
but
Yes,
why don't they
but
learn like the Supreme
you
way?
know what? There's a status in a Benz.
I mean,
There's a status in a Lamborghini.
Yeah.
Okay? Terrible cars to maintain, but there's a status in it when you have one.
I hear you.
When it has one, you are above people. You know? If you have a Lamborghini, I would assume that you have a house with like acres of land.
Really?
know what I
You
mean?
make that assumption? Oh, dear.
Well, the harsh reality is that's not the case in most
and anymore, I
cases.
mean, someone could be renting it,
There's a condo, maybe.
or
Right, but
They just have the car.
because you are able to at least have a Lamborghini, it says something about yourself. You know what I mean? And that's what people live. That's how people scam other people. I have a Lamborghini. Join my business.
that's. I mean, you said it. I was
That's how
gonna
it
say it,
works. That's how it works.
and they could have rented that for the day.
They could have rented it for the day.
This is true. This is very true.
So, you know, in this sick, sad world, you know, it's not about fixing things. It's about temporary subscription-based fixing.
Yo,
you know?
okay.
Say subscription-based,
no,
temporary subscription.
no,
I don't
okay.
have to. You don't need to buy cable. You buy. You don't need $50 of cable. No, you don't need $50, but you need $14 Netflix, $20 Crave, $20 Amazon Prime.
That's that.
And then when it's added up, it's like
Spotify.
$150.
By the time $150, yo, by the time you look, but you know what? We're not gonna make you pay it all at once. We don't want to kill you like a lion. We want to kill you like a snake.
Wow.
We want to poison you.
Wow.
We
Okay.
want to poison you a little bit. Let's just slowly break you down.
That's funny.
Nah, sidebar about subscription, like the whole like I think it was BMW or Mercedes, one of the two. They had to reverse car seat warming if the customer didn't pay for it, or
Yo, bro,
the right to repair. Like you can't repair your own thing. Like
they're
it's
talking
stuff
about
like that.
self-driving cars. That the self-driving car. Imagine if you didn't pay your car payment, the car could drive itself back to the dealership.
or just stop and just
Repo car. Could you imagine you didn't pay your bill? The type of car just says, you know what, reverses out the car, your driveway, and just drives off.
like that's pretty.
Hey, what the?
But the thing is though, because that's how close it is now. It's close as well flipping it, because someone can be like, they can just take a USB and just be like, all right, done.
Yes.
I can control this control. I can hack the car. I can just drive it wherever I want.
That's crazy. So they
Right.
holding on to you. That sounds like some slavery.
Yo,
You see it?
Sorry, I said that so loud.
but like it really. That's what they're trying to move with it. Like,
It's a harsh reality of just, you know, I don't know if it's capital. I don't know the right terms for these.
That doesn't seem like capitalism anymore.
I don't even know the word.
That sounds like
Because
slavery.
everybody's just trying to get, everybody's
Monetary
just trying to
slavery.
win somehow. And some people have an ethical way and some people have an unethical way. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah.
And you have a choice. Do you want to go the right way or you want to go the wrong way?
Well,
You know what I mean?
might as well go the wrong way to keep up.
That's wow. That's, hey man. If you
Well,
have to
I mean-
question, you have to touch your toes to get something. Maybe you should reconsider.
And that's the thing.
Is that the only
problem
way
is,
though?
A lot of people
it's
are
not-
touching their toes to reach somewhere.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's-
that's-
it's-
But I was
A lot of
like,
people
is
are touching
that?
their
Is,
toes.
I don't even think people have to get that far to be even having to like compromise anything about.
but
themselves.
guys, some people,
No.
some people don't want to work.
This is
But here's
true.
the problem.
And that's
Here's
what I'm
the
saying. That's the
problem, though.
compromise.
It
They would
doesn't
rather
look
take
like
the paycheck and stay at home than to go into work. But then they realize that they're actually being limited on their abilities, skill development, and all the other stuff. That's the
But
compromise.
here's the thing. It doesn't look like compromise if everybody's doing it.
See, you see,
You see
hold
what I'm
on.
saying? You see what I'm saying? It's
But-
one of those things. It's like, I know you're saying that, you know, it's this, but everybody does it. But everybody does it. Yeah. Everybody does it. So why is it compromise if everybody does it? You know what? You want to be the anomaly, you're the problem.
Wow.
Oh, you want to be different, huh?
You want
Oh,
you want to be different.
is that what you want to do? Okay.
Nah, man, that's wild still.
It's a sick, sad world nowadays. You know, there's no right turn anymore. I guess.
They want to consider that. Yeah, they don't want.
So
And,
where do
but let
we
me ask.
lobby? That's the question. Because I think that's the biggest part that a lot of people need to know and be familiar with. That even though they can put these things in bills and they can instate them and try to enforce them, there are places where you can be on the opposing side and argue against whatever it is that they have on that they're talking about or trying to actually like put into place.
But you see, there's something called the power of propaganda. You know what I mean?
Okay, okay.
And it's one of those things where, you know, you could be on the argument side, but because this in this world nobody is perfect, right?
Absolutely.
So because in this world nobody is perfect, if someone can find something bad about you, like it's not gonna work when you try to like address certain situations. So let's say something like, "Hey guys, that's wrong. That's wrong." Well, this
started.
last tweet you said you don't like people. So
Well, hold on.
based on the fact that you know,
Wait, hold on. Regarding this topic, it's not the sidebar really, but did you hear about how like they found out a Republican in the states, whatever he was standing for, they're like, oh really? And they started like, I wish I had keyboard sounds, but they're looking
is
him
this
up.
you?
Yeah,
Is this you?
You know, yeah, he got one of those, and then the guy he committed that. I'll just leave it like that, because he was
Just
out.
gotta go.
He was outed as like let's just say he wears everyone's clothes, and because they figured out he wears everyone's clothes, he's just like and then unfortunately
Gotta go.
wow, he left.
That's interesting.
That's
Even in saying that, that's very interesting.
that story was wild.
But here's the thing now.
That's yeah.
Now, I always wondered
That's
this whole
very
concept when it
interesting.
comes to like life and people and society and stuff like this, right? When it comes to like, let's say, no one is perfect in this world, right? And let's say someone wants to stand firm on something that's not okay, right? And if everybody, like, let's say if this person decides to say, yo, I believe that this is wrong, guys. And then some people are like, yes, it's wrong. But then a group comes and says, yeah, you're saying it's wrong. But hey, back in the day, like, you did this. And it kind of just like, for example, I think about it sometimes, like with Martin Luther King and people like that. They were like, you know, yes, he's fighting for us. He's fighting for me. And he's like, but hey, you cheated on your wife. So how? You see what I'm saying? Are people gonna still stop in social media days where people are just kicking people for the mistakes they did, like they can't change?
Right.
Does that change the dynamic when it comes to like things we consider as heroes or people like, you know what I mean? A lot of people, they call you hero when you're dead.
That's
You know, you're nobody till somebody kills you type thing.
That's yeah. I mean,
I feel it's interesting because then it kind of makes people very monolithic. Like you don't have more than one part to you.
you're just like, oh,
You're just one dimensional. And it's like, okay, so he had issues with being faithful to his wife. All right. True. Someone who, especially being that he was a pastor, he was a Christian leader.
right.
Though he could not be faithful and devoted to his wife, the one woman, he was very much devoted to the idea of race and political affairs.
Right.
That sounds good, but they could weaponize that to say, well, if you're not even good to your own wife, how we know you're weaponized to us?
That's
Right. Understood. But sometimes people are dimensional. It could be easier for him to actually think about politics and segregation and laws and stuff than his wife. His wife could be complicated. And he can't figure that out. Right? Plus she's a relationship versus a whole idea and practice and system.
right.
That's so easy to say, But it's like, how is a woman complicated? Are you saying women are complicated?
No, but
No,
I
but it's like two different things. Okay, here's one thing. You're great with your hands, sir.
Okay.
Right? And as good as you are with your hands, are you a great cook?
I cook to survive.
Right. But you see what I'm saying? As good as you are with your hands, you should be great with any skill that has to do with your hands, no?
I mean, that's what you would think, but that's not how the world goes.
Exactly. But that's what I'm saying. That's the one-dimensional thinking that I'm talking about. Just because you're good with one thing doesn't mean that you're going to be able to apply it to all things because of that one thing. No.
that makes sense.
It's multidimensional, right? People are multidimensional. As you said, they're not perfect. So why would we assume just because his faith and devotion to his wife would be easy, just like him running a whole congregation is
That's
easy?
the culture. That's the culture.
But
This
that's
is
what I'm
what it
saying.
is.
It's like all those people who say that.
Yeah, the weird example I was gonna say was how like Mr. Beast made those wells in like different parts of Africa.
Yes.
Yo, that thing is so crazy.
And people are just like
the opposition on that.
people are just like, you're building wells in Namibia and Zimbabwe and
Yo,
You know what's funny?
Congo.
for me,
who
it
is
was
this guy?
No, it was honestly, it was the refute of so many people saying like, and especially a lot of people that I read in the comments, Africans themselves,
Oh wow, okay.
chastising and scrutinizing Mr. Beast for developing those wells.
Really? Wow.
They went on the idea or on the talking point that, oh, these white people want to be white saviors so badly and have this white savior complex. The other part was, oh, why are they praising this person when they don't even recognize that their own backyard needs help? Why don't you build the wells in your own place that you live in?
Ooh.
Right? Then the other was, oh, as an African, they were just like shutting it down. They're like, as an African, they just want to constantly have this propaganda of somebody coming in and showing the worst parts, and I put quote unquote, worst parts of Africa, and only making it seem as if that's the only way Africa looks.
Like the whole continent.
The whole continent looks like this.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Because if you're putting 100 wells, that's a large amount of wells to be developing.
Yeah.
Right? And then that's, to me, I would think that, oh, how much space is that per se? So
I mean, Africa's big as F.
it is big. So that's the other thing. A lot of people don't know the ratio as to how big Africa is.
You can fit China and like 2 other big countries in there.
Yes.
Like that's how big it is.
Yes. But then the other argument then stands. You're upset about this white guy coming in and doing a public service because the other side of it was like, oh, this guy's doing an act of humanity. We should just recognize that and say it takes a lot for somebody to even do that act. Period.
Okay.
Right? For the Africans. Why didn't you go build 100 wells yet?
Wow. That's...
You came into a modern society, and I put quotes around modern society, first world country, you figured it out, had your education, learn and live and everything. Why didn't you go back and dig up the ground?
Let's hold on. Let me I'll kind of interject a little bit before it gets hot.
Okay.
But the first person I've heard of that was doing wells,
Akon.
and shout out to him.
Okay.
Bizzle. He was a rapper named Bizzle.
Okay.
Oh.
I know he did wells before Mr. Beast, like years. He had this whole album called Well Wishes, and literally it was like the money from the album goes straight to like the wells that he's building in Africa. I think it was like Mozambique or some other places, right?
Okay. Cool.
And he showed that they made the wells. He did the wells and all that stuff, and I thought that was great. Like that's a great thing to do. Like I don't really care about like. I'm happy that he does some things like Mr. Beast, like he does his whole, yeah, we're gonna do the wells. Like, yeah, okay, cool. Sounds all great. I don't really care. Like, I don't believe like, if someone has to do it. You know what I mean?
Hold on. Let me just poke a tire a second. In one of the comments, they said he built that Mr. Beast. He built the wells before Akon. I just want to throw that in there.
Well, Akon brought light. Akon brought light to Senegal, so that's the problem. Light. It's like that's when you start putting things. Woo! That one is.
that was what I read in the comments.
Oh dear.
They're like, "How's this guy
But-
coming in and building and in Akon?"
This man turned on the light and they sat in that room starving and thirsty,
He should have collabed
but they
with
could
Sean
see each
Paul.
other starving.
Should have collabed with Sean
Crunch.
Paul.
The,
We're just giving the light. We're just giving you the light.
wow,
You know, we're gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them.
Yes.
wow, that's
So, but here's my thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think I don't see nothing wrong with what Mr. Beast did. I'll say that
Me
personally.
neither.
But I do believe there's this whole thing, like, you know, this whole white savior thing, and I understand that I mean there is a thing. I mean they even try to say Jesus was white. Boy, were they wrong. And I like I don't really know how to go about that type of concept. Like when you hear this, I'm like, ooh, like what
That's what
is
happened.
he supposed to do? Like all his money goes back into
Places.
this, you know what I mean? This humanitarianism thing, you know? And what's wrong with that type of good content?
But
You know what I mean?
I don't know. It was weird. He got there's been something bubbling up with him. I wish I can pinpoint the exact like
And can I strike a nerve a little bit?
year, but like when he did that, everyone's just like,
They
But
looked
let
at
me-
him sideways.
let me
yeah,
Yeah.
strike
looked
a
at him
nerve a little
sideways,
bit.
like,
Can I strike a little nerve?
okay,
You know? What about the you know, the rappers and the artists that be like, you know, shitting on what you don't have? Are they doing this?
Some of them are. That's
Some-
the thing. It's just not broadcast. A lot of people.
And I think they need to broadcast it.
And that's
they
the
need to
part.
promote the broadcast.
That's
They
the
need to
part.
broadcast
I think
it.
Jay-Z did something like that.
Yeah, a lot of them. Beyonce went to Africa. I think she did a whole tour in Africa, but I don't know if she developed anything. I don't know if she actually did
The last
anything
person
like.
I remember they talked about that did something in Africa was Oprah, and that did not end well. Allegedly,
yes, but I-
The only thing I know
because-
is that she adopted, and she brought them to America, got them educated, everything like that, and they're actually going back to go and develop stuff.
Oh, cool.
So she has, I think it's like her something daughters. That's what it is. But she adopted these girls.
But didn't you hear like the whole backlash about the girls talking about the school and how bad it was and all these things that were happening
I
in
heard.
the school?
Yeah, I've heard about that too. Yeah.
And then the problem is, and this is the thing about like certain things, because sometimes I feel like it's like, damn if you do, damn if you don't sometimes. Because it's like, you'll hear situations like this happen, and then you hear, oh, some type of controversy, you don't even know if it's true anymore. It's like,
Right.
I'm tired.
I mean, it probably is true, right? Like, it just depends on what side of the story you're on. Are you the person who is giving or receiving, right? Because, like, say, for example, those girls from Africa, if they didn't have a really great school experience, I mean, one thing that's going to definitely be impacting them is culture shock. Right off the bat, right? And then on top of it, when you start learning about, like, how, prime example of practice, when the colonial people took Aboriginal kids from their families and brought them into colonial practices.
Right.
Cut their hair, cut them from their culture, cut them from their beliefs, their spirituality, and then started integrating them into this so they would assimilate into this like new context of life. If them learning that context, they wouldn't they think that that's them? That would be a very hard thing to digest.
When they think that's them.
They came from Africa. And then now this woman, though she's black, comes and brings me to Western society to teach me Western values, Western ways, and a little bit lose my culture to adapt into Western, because Western life is better life,
Yeah, quote unquote. Yeah.
So they say.
right?
So they say.
Of course, that whole transfer over is going to be a very hard transfer.
Yeah.
You're dealing
You know
with
what?
people who had running water their whole life and they don't know how to wash their hands properly.
That's.
You know what?
Yo.
That you know what? That is an interesting take. Because you know what? There's a lot of people that don't know how to wash their hands and they have water for days.
Yeah.
Fresh water.
Mm-hmm.
Fresh water.
That would be wow. You
I don't know
know,
how many times we started this whole wash your hands campaign,
No,
but
but it's good that we do that though, because like it has
people
to be
don't
said.
wash their hands.
Well, I think recently some guy like, as I'm walking in, just kind of finished the urinal and he did the penguin shuffle out, and I was like, and then under my breath, but not under my breath, I was like, hey. And then,
And that's the worst because they were like, hey, did you wash your hands? Huh? Did you wash your hands?
like that's just
that's funny.
And then it's like, it's just awkward now because it's like, what, I was supposed to tell you to wash your hands? Like, I was supposed to tell you? Like
come on now.
you just didn't know for yourself? But I have another, like, question. I know this is, like, I know we've been talking about all the dark situations that's been happening in society and all this stuff. And,
Yeah.
you know what? But my question is, like, when it comes to these type of situations, right? And for me, it was the Remembrance Day yesterday, and I watched this video where the girl yells out "Free Gaza" in the midst of like the moment of silence, and then, you know, mans are cussing her. Some mans are like, "Hey, ma'am, like, geez, golly, like, relax," you know what I mean? And then there's some people that are like passionate, like, "Hey, go back where you came from."
Oh wow.
You know, I'm not trying to do the
off
accent,
rip.
but like the heaviest.
Just off rip, just like go
You
back
know,
where you came from.
And even though we don't know where they came from, and you know, I read the comments, and then some people are like, you have like a lot of people saying, "Yeah, there's a time, there's a time like this when there's a genocide going on. There's a time for, you know, things need to be heard. People need to be heard.
Right.
Things need to be heard." And like, my question is, like, I might sound maybe selfish of me or something like that, but like, is there a time to not bring things like that up? Like,
Yes.
I know they say there's a lot of time for everything, but like, is there like a moral compass for people to be like, not right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, there is. I mean, it's the same way when Black Lives Matter, and then someone interjected and said, "All lives matter." Oh! Excuse me. It's not your time, right? Yeah. There is a time and a place for everything. So in this moment, we are recognizing those who served the country here in Canada for war, what they did during whatever time, era, whatever. I'm not going to go into the history of it. It is a practice that is done here. That is what we do in this country. So if all you have to do is be quiet for 2 minutes, one time in the year, that is all that's being asked of you. One time of the year, 2 minutes, silence.
That is actually funny.
And
Being quiet for the one time of the year.
it's for the grand
That's
scheme
it.
of things, yeah.
Let the trumpet go off.
You let the trumpet play.
Yeah.
Let the whole
I just didn't know, like I don't know how, like, I don't understand, like, it's just very tough for me to just hear and see, and it's like, I know there's a time for everything, but then I feel like it could backfire. It's like, then what stops me from saying all lives matter when it was Black Lives Matter? Hey, like, you know what I mean?
yeah.
But it's like, it's the, I think what it is more so acknowledging what is happening. As much as we acknowledge what is happening in a current time, if we keep sitting there and thinking about it, we will not progress.
Okay, that's the like it's the equivalent of kicking the can down the road, like,
Yeah.
because if you,
Okay.
I guess in a way, if you're like, okay, this is not the time for it. When is the time for it?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. And then all of a sudden you blink your eyes, and then 50 years
Why-
pass by.
Why did you do that voice?
Well, oh, that
Well, I don't know.
no, no, it's just, yeah, like,
And I mean, like, even if you think of it from an individual perspective, if you had a problem and a conflict in your life, in your personal life, and you sat and stewed on it, your everyday still exists. your obligations, your responsibilities, the things, your self-care, those things still are needed of you
Right.
for you to
Okay.
operate. If you sat
Yeah.
in that conflict and just continue to swallow in that conflict, everything else is going to get neglected. And then that's going to be a bigger problem in the long run.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like, as much as we acknowledge, okay, you acknowledge that there's a conflict, you acknowledge that there are things that need to be done. Yes, we understand that this situation is ongoing as we speak. It's been going on for quite some time.
From a
Quite
while
some
now.
time.
Yeah.
And I am
So-
outraged. I am not okay.
Right? But the thing is, it's like, okay, we understand that it's there, but we still need to continue recognizing all the other things that we have in our lives as well, and then come back to that conflict when we have a better solution for it.
Right.
But we can't neglect everything else too.
Well, yeah, I guess so.
And just break down what was happening in the clip too. Like, the one particular thing that stood out to me was like
Baby, everything about that clip was a whole oxymoron.
It
was an oxymoron.
The whole clip.
The whole clip. The whole thing was irony and oxymorons all together.
Wow.
Yeah. Because how are
You
you
know
going to be... Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
Because the way, if I say, oh, wow.
I never understood how people just automatically just assume because you're against something, you're not from that same country. Like, if I'm from Canada and I say I don't like certain things in Canada, someone will message or someone say, well, go back to wherever you came from. I mean,
That's not really. Yeah.
I mean,
Right?
I
As
was
if I
born
wasn't
here.
born here. Or
I was born
generationally
here, and more times, a lot of people that say that they weren't born here,
Yeah.
they just stayed here longer.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, I was actually born here. You got your citizenship maybe when I was born. So, how do we go about this? I mean, like, it's kind of weird. You know what I mean? And, you know, I feel like some countries can be wrong on certain things. Yes, I get it. There's a time for everything. I understand that. But, like, that whole get out of the country thing is kind of weird because, let's be honest, if you know, when they say to black people, get out of the country, and if we all just said, okay.
I'm telling you right now, they won't let us leave. If all the
immigrants just said, okay, and left, oh my goodness. You want to see certain things plummet? Oh my gosh. What are we going to do with all these salts? What are we going to do with all these seasonings, man?
No.
Or
What we're gonna do with
if there was an argument of going back where you came from and you found out where you actually came from, you know, if there's any scientific way to say it's like, oh, you're actually not even from Canada. You are from here.
Okay.
You know what I mean? What would happen then if everybody just went back to where they came from?
Nah, I don't think Mandem and Galdem are allowed to leave like that. I think no, if everyone just collectively just went, you know what, we're all just gonna leave. Oh, you're gonna see some weird stuff. I'm telling you guys.
We see what happened in Florida. You see what happened in Florida when some of those mans and then like strawberry, certain things just was going through hell, like in sales and stuff because they couldn't mass produce as much as they could, allegedly.
Wait, so
you know what I mean?
Wait, sorry, just to repeat it because I think you were bringing up. So in Florida, like who left exactly?
Basically, some immigrants. I think it was like Spanish, like Mexican and Latin.
Mexican, like Latins. Okay, yeah.
And then because of that whole bill that they passed, and then some of them actually had to leave. But then what happened is like, you know, the jobs that they were running or like, you know, they decided to get into, they needed people to do it. It wasn't being done as fast. It wasn't being done as good. Right. It wasn't being done with the, you know what I mean? You know, some mans would be like, they're too like, I want to take a break. It's like, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
There's a lot of things that were just, it just threw everything off. You know what I mean? And people don't think about those type of things.
Right.
If all the Jamaicans leave, what are you going to do with the music? What are you going to come back and take it? Like,
wow.
Like, what are you gonna do if Vincey decides to leave? Huh? What's life without Palau? You know?
Not with Palau.
Like, what's
what?
gonna happen? What's gonna happen, huh?
There'd be a lot of
As people
things.
just
A lot of things. Embassy issues, that's for sure.
That's yeah.
and imagine if they said, "Yeah, just come back with welcome open arms." Oh, you learned the skill in Canada, you can use it here. Imagine if that was the case.
Ooh, see, you spoke it, and it's on
Hmm?
wax now. You spoke it.
Huh? Huh?
Like, oh, you were a doctor here. Oh, okay. You were a carpenter. Okay. You were a librarian.
Some
Okay.
places would get developed way
Way
faster.
Yeah.
what? And then you know they're gonna
Way
say,
faster.
"No, you are born Canadian. Come back.
You see?
You are born American. Come back. You are proud to be an American, right?
Yes. For the,
Come back."
to the viewers, the reason why we're speaking about this is simply because of that whole situation. So to really break down what the situation was, during November 11th, which is our Remembrance Day towards the veterans who had sacrificed their lives during the war,
Yeah.
there was a moment down, I think, by Nathan Phillips Square, which is
The
downtown
moment of
Toronto.
silence.
Wow. Right there too.
And a moment of silence was asked for 2 minutes. What happened was a woman had screamed out, "Free Gaza,"
Right.
during this peaceful silence. And in this, don't know what her actual background is, but
Right.
from what I see, she appears to be a white woman. May not be. She could be Middle Eastern. She could be from any of the regions that she had spoken about, but could not tell based on what her background is. Let's just say.
Right.
So she's ambiguous. In saying that, when she said that, an Asian gentleman with a very strong accent, very strong, decided to respond to her and tell her to shush and tell her that this is not the time and place for this, while wearing what was the flag?
So either it's Ontario's flag or the Union Jack, the one in
Union Jack
England.
flag. So
Yeah.
with that hanging around his caped around him, and was basically barking at her during this silence while telling her to be quiet. He was making the most noise and saying time and place. While he's getting hype, someone was holding him back. A black man, might I add.
Okay.
A black man was holding him back and trying to de-escalate the situation. And his fury. Look at that. Black people actually saving. Wow, we're not violent after all.
That's
Okay, especially here in Canada. And the white gentlemen who were also here engaging were just sitting on the side doing commentary.
that's it. Just
Commentary of this whole situation.
wow.
So, the oxymoron in this whole thing. When it comes to Canada, please, we don't really play by any of those stereotypes. Literally.
Yeah.
I just
Wow.
want that to be known.
Like she just described the whole like movie there. That's a whole like it's like wait what? Who
I
you
don't
thought
know.
was gonna do what? It didn't happen that
Yeah.
way.
Oh, Canada. Oh, Canada. You ever thought about leaving Canada though? You ever thought about like
Yes.
going to
and
go
yes.
somewhere else?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Like leaving Ontario or
Yeah.
leaving
Ooh.
Canada?
No,
Canada.
Canada. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Whether it's going back to St. Vincent, whether it's going to the States, whether it's like seeing how South America is. Listen,
Oh, you consider South America?
yes.
If you, what would be the reason for you leaving? What would be your reason? Like just
The opportunities here are weird.
Honestly,
The pay is so low.
yeah, I would
Um,
invest other places. Especially being that I was born in St. Vincent, I would love to just go back and actually get in touch with my roots. And see how like St. Vincent's development is. Plus, the pace is a lot slower in the Caribbean. St. Vincent is quite a developed country. A lot of people may not know. Same with Barbados. Both very developed countries.
yeah, there's
They're no different than Canada, honestly.
do you ever feel like because you live in a life so fast paced, if you go into a slow pace, it's gonna be like, oh, what am I supposed to do? I'm not
No,
used to stopping.
not at all.
yo.
everything about here in Canada, well, the times that I've been to the islands, everything that I've learned here in Canada when going down there, when you apply it, you actually get so much done.
Okay.
So much done. And because you have the ability to leisure the way that you can, that's why you can get so much done. Plus, what is a plus is that the weather allows you to do it all year round.
That's the weather, man.
Mm-hmm.
I remember last time I was there, which was a while ago. I thought like, I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna be so bored and everything, but nah. It's like the minute the plane landed, it was like I told my professor this and my classmates. It was like something just lifted off my shoulders, and then time. I wouldn't say time went slow that week, but I know something was wrong when got on the plane and was landing back.
You felt it
that
back.
weight went immediately back on. I was like, ooh, okay, this is
Yep.
something's wrong here.
Yep.
Something's very wrong here because
Yep.
like I can feel it, right? I was gonna consider like in the States, like New York and stuff like that. Yes, I know New York is overcrowded. Boo hoo, it doesn't matter. And I'll be caught up in Brooklyn somewhere, right? Because the Caribbean roots is good there, and Queens too. But not just in terms of like if I lean into like media stuff, because the media outlets is like the biggest in the game, right? But then I thought of a quote that someone told Z before, was just like, you have to make you can make American money. You'll make more, but then you gotta save like a third of that in case you get sick, because that's your hospital bill right away. And you gotta save a third of that because you have to pay for your insurance. You have to work for your insurance, right? So really, you're making more money, but kind of not really. It's like
Because what you have to pay out.
Yeah, it's like it's very up in the air, right? But
I always thought you could catch a flight though, and just
Like,
catch a flight back to Toronto.
Like New York,
I don't know what
New York's only
sickness,
like an
but-
hour and a half away. So
it depends on
Yeah.
what your insurance is too, right?
yeah,
If your insurance gives you coverage even in America, then you're good. But if you're
if you're with Allstate, I think Allstate's like
yeah.
You know what's funny?
They're good,
When I heard like some of the phone lines, it's like U.S. and Canada. They just consider Canada like a state. They're just like, yo, this is the phone price here. Just put Canada on that too. We don't even, because I swear Canada has the highest phone charges when it comes to like, phone plans. Like ours is just the highest for no reason.
Yeah.
yes,
There's
Yes,
no
it is.
explanation for it. It's just high.
Yeah, you can pay for like a whole monthly fee in the States for like $25.
that's
And
what
get data
and
like
get
Boost
data.
Unlimited data sometimes.
Yeah,
Boost
like-
mobile and them something there.
for like
Jeez, man.
$25.
Oh,
I
wait,
didn't-
sorry, I didn't finish the quote. Oh, sorry, yeah, and then so yeah, you go to the States, you make more, blah blah. You come to Canada, you make way less. The healthcare is free for the time being.
Healthcare's free, but it's I can't even say healthcare's free. I would say it's prepaid. In a sense, you pay
Prepaid,
through
yeah,
taxes, right?
yeah. The
You pay through your
taxes,
taxes.
yeah, like the taxes way
Is it
higher.
the best healthcare as it was before? No, but it's prepaid. I
Yeah.
would say that because you have to pay through the taxes.
Right, yeah. So like there's that aspect. You do pay for insurance here, but the work to employee pays like is lower, right? But then I think you mentioned one day, is with work from home being a thing, it's like why
You
not
can
just
live
stay
anywhere.
here, hook up with an American company, because that's what a lot of people do, and just do it that way. So you get the best of both worlds, right? That's the
guess.
goal, man. Some people once work from home hit since I guess the big spike 2020. But there's work from home has always been a thing, but like obviously COVID amped it up, right?
Yes.
Ever since then, people just like, no, I'm going to the Caribbean, living there permanently, or I'm going to South America, live there permanently, right?
Yeah, I know a gentleman. He actually lives here only during the hot seasons, and then he moves down to South America for the cold seasons.
That's what I'm.
Yeah, and he runs his business.
Oh,
Huh?
and runs his business. Yeah, that's the type of time I'm trying to be on right now, right? So, well, I think we should wrap.
Oh, they both
Yeah,
sound
let's
fine?
wrap this up. I'm tired of this expensive inflation life.
Right?
I feel like I'm just tired of everything lately. I've just been tired of everything.
You're tired of everything.
it's not like I'm just tired of. I'm tired of people. I'm tired of. I'm just tired. You know, that's
That's
all it is.
funny. I think
I'm
we're
just
all
tired.
just tired.
There you go. Physically, mentally, all that stuff. Just I'm tired of everything. But you know what? I believe there's gonna be some goodness. It's gonna come a better day. Someday. You know, wanna be a baller, shot caller.
20,
Na, 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 na. I forgot how the song goes. You know,
that's a
that my way on the highway. Gonna be a better way. Anyway, that's stuff out of my head. Um, what do you guys have to plug?
just Delnijiro, DELNIJIRO, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and that's it. Yeah.
Um, yeah, and you guys can find me at Instagram. Um, THENERDZZZ, the Nerd Z, and you can also find and follow me on my Instagram page for photography, which is zzz.studioto. Yeah, I will see you guys soon.
All right, yo. Jay Hunterville. I got nothing to plug. You know me, Jay Hunterville on Instagram, Twitch, Blue Pistols. Same old ringity dang thing. If you have any questions, concerns, complaints, collabs, send it to askthevent@gmail.com. We're gonna be on all DSPs. If we're not, let us know. Keep in mind that Google Podcasts will be closing. So we're
Oh,
not
really?
like, yeah, it's gonna be closing. It's gonna be transferred to YouTube Music. So
Oh.
yeah, so just keep that in mind for all the Google Podcast people. Other than that, you guys be safe out there in these streets. Look both ways before you cross the street. And this is the vent. We out. Peace.
Peace.
Watch it.